your your startup basically, is it EvoHealth? Am I pronouncing it right?
Yes, you are. Yes.
So, I mean, I took a look at your website. It's a
Yeah.
dope website. I feel like you
Thanks,
have
man.
changed the layout a couple times because it looks different
Yes.
now, but
Yes, it
it looks
does.
good. I like it.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
So here's what I see from the outside. So just let me
Yeah.
know how accurate it is. So
Yeah.
basically, you're a startup. You sell fitness equipment, some office equipment, but also there's a portion of the business focused on speech therapy. I don't know what that is, but maybe you can talk about it. But
Yeah.
so overall, it's like I feel like you're just starting, so you might have bigger plans. So yeah, I mean, what's it all about? And I mean, I kind of have an idea, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're bang on, man. So backstory is, so my wife, like I mentioned, she went to school for speech language pathology, which is essentially, she does speech therapy, speech and communication and language therapy for all sorts of patients. It could be patients slash clients. Um, it could be kids who are having difficulties with speech early on. It could be individuals who go through like some sort of trauma, that need speech or language or communication therapy. So she went to school. She studied all that. It was her master's program. It was
Yeah.
pretty hectic program, pretty tough. Um, so she did that. Now she's working as an SOP, a speech language pathologist, and she sees all sorts of clients on a day to day basis. Um, so kind of how that started was, a few years ago we were thinking about like potentially getting her to have her own little practice. So the idea is that, as normally as a therapy provider, like be it physio or massage or chiro, occupational therapy, speech language pathology, there's a whole breathload of therapy services out there. um, a lot of people can be like their own bosses, so
Mm.
they can work for multiple organizations. They can be what's called a subcontractor for many different organizations. So she actually does that herself. She's a subcontractor for a few organizations, as well as like working part-time for one specific company as well. Um, so we had always thought, hey, like, can you potentially get started on setting up your own thing where, when you actually go see patients, especially all the money you make, it comes back to you. Because what happens is, as a subcontractor, you end up working for somebody, they take like a 30% commission, you keep 70%.
Oh,
And so that's how they make money. But what you have to do is just sit back. You don't have to find clients. You don't have to do anything at all, other than
right.
the actual work of managing the clients. But all the marketing, the admin fees, and all that is covered by like your contractor, so to speak, or the company that you work for. So we're like, hey, we should set this up where like that 30% that you lose in your fees ends up coming back to you. So we kind of thought about that a few years ago. This was maybe a couple summers ago, and then when I went to school, for my graduate program, um, I took a course in entrepreneurship, and basically what we did there was come up with like a business plan for some business idea. So it could be anything. It was a class of three people. It was huge. So we all came up with like a business idea of some sort, and over the span of 4 months, we essentially came up with a business plan, how you would make it profitable. So I took this idea that we had, and I took it into that class, and I created a full like business plan out of it.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
but our idea was more of not just speech services, it's all of it. So for example, I'll just give you an example of like, let's say a person has a severe car accident. So they have to go through, if it's severe enough where they need to see a bunch of providers, they have to see a physiotherapist, a massage therapist. Sometimes they have to see an occupational therapist who basically help them with like day-to-day activities. um, they may have to see a speech language pathologist if they're having like communication or language issues. They may need to see a psychologist. So there's like a whole load of um, therapists that they may have to see. So our idea was like, how do we bring about like a network of these therapists under one group? that can provide therapy to patients or clients who need not just a physiotherapist and not just an occupational therapist, but may need like an interconnective, like a network of interdisciplinary professionals,
Yeah.
um, who can bounce not just like ideas off of each other, but they can also say, hey, like, so for example, a physiotherapist can tell the massage therapist, like, we're working on X, Y, and Z. So when he comes in or she comes in for their massage next week, like, concentrate on these areas because this is what we're doing during physio as well, for
Yeah.
example. So that was kind of our idea to start. Um, so I created the entire business plan, kind of got this idea in my head that we can get this going soon, like even while I'm in school might be possible. And then March 2020, when the pandemic started, rolled around, and we obviously got smacked with gym closures and
Oh yeah.
businesses got shut down. Everything got shut down pretty much. So um, that was where the idea kind of came about for selling fitness equipment, because we were like, hey, gyms are shut down. There's like absolutely no, you can't find fitness equipment anywhere. I went to like my local Fitness Depot,
Yeah.
which is like a big fitness chain. They had nothing. Like, they were completely sold out. They're literally they had like a few bars here and there, but that was it. And they were like, these are all sold, like someone's already bought them like this morning or like a few hours ago. So everything, they were completely empty. And I was like, this is amazing. The fact that like the biggest franchises and biggest stores that sell fitness equipment are sold out. And I went online and looked at a few more companies, like especially the big name companies like Rogue and all the other manufacturers of fitness equipment. They were all sold out too. I'm like, what is going on over here? So
Mm.
went online, did some research, uh, found out that like 90% of companies actually manufacture everything overseas. Nothing's actually manufactured here in North
Oh,
America.
okay.
So things are all manufactured pretty much in like China, in Taiwan, and a few other places. So I found some suppliers like overseas. Went to the website Alibaba, which a lot of people probably heard of and know of.
Yeah.
Found a bunch of suppliers there and just started talking to people locally as well within my own network, like friends and family and stuff. And I was like, hey, if I order, like, I'm going to be ordering some fitness equipment for myself. If I order like some extras, would you be willing to purchase them? Like I can
Yeah.
sell them to you at cost, right? I'm not going to make any money off of you guys. I'll just sell them to you. And they were like, yeah, you know what? Like this may end up going on for quite a few months, so let's do it.
Yeah.
So I rounded up like a group of like 10 to 20 people, I think, early on. They were all like, yeah, we'll end up purchasing stuff with you. So so I made an order, I placed an order. It takes like a couple of months for orders to come in, because they all come in by ship essentially. So it's all like put into
Right.
massive containers and they come over. So it takes quite a few days. I learned that it takes like a ship 35 days or 40 days to cross from like China across the Pacific Ocean into Vancouver, essentially. So they
Oh yeah.
take that route, like behind the Pacific Ocean route. They land in Vancouver, and then
Mhm.
everything's taken off the ships and they're put onto trains, and then they come on a train over here to Toronto. So
Mm.
I learned about the entire like logistics process of how that works. I'm still learning, like to this day. I'm still learning about a lot of
Yeah.
things. So so yeah, so I kind of I bought initially. I had like this group of 10 or 20 people, and then I was like, you know what? If there's 10 or 20 people that I know already that need this, maybe there's like 5 people that those 10 people may know. Like, even if I get
Right.
50% of people to like give a referral to somebody else, I might be able to sell more. So I like just I like doubled all the quantities that I was going to order initially from my friends, just doubled it up. And I was like, you know what? If I have some storage, extra stuff, I can just store it in my garage here.
Mm.
So ended up doing that, got all of our stuff to come in, and we sold out in like 2 days. So I was like, holy, I set up a website. People started finding us. We posted on Kijiji, um, had like a ton of questions early on, especially. It was crazy. Um, I remember like my wife had set up the Kijiji page for us, and so
Yeah.
she was like, she would like, we would sleep, and overnight we would wake up the next morning and we'd see like 40 messages on Kijiji overnight. And we're like, holy, like this is crazy. So we
Right.
literally like didn't really set up anything other than like an online store. Initially, we were just doing like e-transfers, um, just selling them locally like
Yeah.
that. And then eventually we're like, there might be something here. Um, so started looking into more like types of fitness equipment people wanted. Initially, it was like dumbbells and things like that. So we kind of went from there. Now we're like doing a whole boatload of products. You've got like barbells and benches and flooring and weight plates. It's pretty much anything
Yo,
you need for a home
the
gym.
kettlebells, I couldn't find a kettlebell for months.
Yeah, right. Like it's crazy. People still can't. like
Yeah.
like everything's been. I know companies that it's sad, but there's a few companies in like I live in Mississauga, so there's a few local companies in Mississauga that had like great reviews that went all the way down to like a 2 point something on Google reviews because they had promised their customers that hey, we will get you your products. People got them like 7 months later. It was ridiculous.
Jeez.
Like imagine spending like 2 grand not having anybody to speak to because their customer service was like went down the drain. They weren't replying to emails, weren't replying to
Yeah.
phone calls, and these are companies that are like family owned businesses that have been around for years. Um, and they just like absolutely got annihilated online through like, I've learned that the consumer is brutal. They,
Bro, I can only imagine like
yeah, yeah.
oh,
People know what they want, and if they don't get what they want, they get mad. So, so,
one
so we,
star, zero
yeah,
stars.
literally. But so we've been, so we kind of got into that, and while obviously it was a huge pivot, because we initially were going to get into services,
Yep.
for like what my wife does, and then we got into like this product side where we're like, we'll it kind of it's kind of in the same space. It's all in the health and fitness world.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's pivot towards the product side. Let's keep the services side on the back burner. Let's see what happens. Um, and then our plans are always to eventually launch the services side as well. So we recently launched her the speech therapy side. So she's seeing clients through our brand, through the EvoHealth brand as well. And our plans are now to move like into expanding into like massage therapy, physiotherapy, occupational therapy as well. Get therapists on board, similar to how she works. Like get them on as contractors. We'll do all the work with like marketing, finding clients, and then they just go in and they essentially try to work together. Everyone tries to work together in a collaborative environment and essentially provide like the best therapy experience for people who need it.
Yeah, dude. I
So
mean, it sounds so cool. Like initially I had no idea what you were doing because I was like, oh, he's selling some equipment. Cool.
yeah,
But just today I saw the website. I was like, okay, yeah, it's come a long way in a few months. It's pretty
yeah,
clear
yeah.
what you're doing. It's really fascinating, especially hearing that most of the fitness equipment is actually manufactured outside of, I think you said Canada, right? Or was it North America?
In North America in general. I mean, there's a lot of companies, really high quality, really great companies here locally. Don't get me wrong. There's
Oh, okay.
some fantastic stuff here. Um, I actually got exposed to a lot of these amazing manufacturers that make things locally. There's a few companies in the Toronto area. There's lots of companies out west that are making and designing and building their own things with locally
Right.
made, locally sourced steel, locally sourced cast iron, things like that. Um, and then they do the full design and manufacturing here. But obviously, that also comes with a cost, right? Because
Yeah.
labor is like 3 times, 4 times, maybe even 10 times the price in certain sectors in North America than it is in Asia. Um, the quality is like right up there, right? Like it will
Mhm.
always be much higher because things are crafted um, by people who have a lot more experience, a lot more hands-on experience than those in Asia. And then in Asia, it's a numbers game, like it's a volume game that they play. So
Yep.
they like sell in the hundreds of thousands. Like a factory can pump out, if it's like small products, they can pump out like thousands a day, no problem. Whereas over here, like it's done at a much smaller scale, but the quality is so much higher that you kind of make the same amount of money if it comes to when you look at the business, because you're also spending a lot more. But then you also get products that are will last longer, no doubt about it. Um, you'll get better service here, right? It's a locally made product. You can probably get you can probably speak to the manufacturers a lot easier than you can like if you had to speak to someone in China.
Hmm.
Like it's a
You
lot more
don't know China,
difficult,
and you
right?
don't know. I
Like
guess it's
Mandarin
mainland.
or
So mainland, they speak Mandarin. Yeah,
Mandarin or like Cantonese. I don't know. I'm not sure which one.
I
I'm
think
ignorant
Cantonese
of
is Hong Kong, but
Hong
I mean,
Kong.
with
Yeah.
all the stuff going on there, I don't even know if. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but
Yeah, I
that
just
is.
speak to my guys who give me stuff. So
Yeah, yeah,
so so it's definitely like it's been a huge learning curve. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's been a blast. Like I've I have never worked harder in my life, like in terms of working towards like goals that I have.
yeah.
My wife as well, same thing. So she's helping with the business. I'm doing a lot of the work right now, but she's doing like the services side. Um, but yeah, we're hoping to we have a few cool things planned in the next few months that we're hoping to expand into. Um, and we'll see how that goes from there, man. It's been a fun experience, a fun journey. And I work full time, so that kills me. Like I'm absolutely like like
Yeah.
I've got a job that's pretty flexible. So my supervisor is pretty cool as well, and he knows that I have my own business as well. So he's pretty chill about the fact that I'm he's fairly flexible with our deadlines. Um, but I make sure I do my work. So that makes a difference. But I'm literally like I work till like midnight or like 1 a.m. And there's like a 12-hour, I don't know if you knew this, I learned 12-hour time difference between us and the Chinese. So
Okay.
so so when it's like 10 p.m. here, that's when I actually start talking to a lot of my suppliers out in Asia.
Right.
So it'll be like some days I'll be like 3 a.m. in my bed, like on my phone, just like texting these guys what I need next and coordinating things. But it's fun. It's been a
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
journey.
I mean, I want to get into it more, but I know you got to get going soon. So I mean, it's awesome that there's so much to talk about because I'm really interested in
Yeah,
the business
man.
side of it. I mean, I don't intend to start my own fitness business, so it's just cool just to like learn about how you get your suppliers, how things are shipped. But but anyway, good luck with your
Thanks,
business,
man. Thank you.
Evo
Appreciate
Health,
it.
and the
Thank you.
website is evoh.com or
.ca.
ca.
.ca.
.ca. Okay.
Gotta stay Canadian.
So